In this video, I'm going to react to 5 ways British and American grocery stores are very different. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. I really love watching Lost in the Ponds videos. Like, Lawrence does a really good job of just quite accurately depicting the differences between, ways we do things here in England, in the UK, and ways you guys do things in America. And grocery stores in particular are a funny one because I've only been, so when I was last in Florida, we went to a, where did we go? I think it was a Walmart, and it looked fairly similar to Asda here, or to be honest, it looked similar to all of our big superstores, Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, but it just seemed bigger. Like, it was vast. Honestly, it felt like I was in like an airport. Like, it was just absolutely ridiculous. I feel like there was like over 100 aisles. It was just massive. So I think that's probably one difference that I'm gonna see in this video. This is one prediction I'm gonna make, that maybe your biggest grocery stores are just way bigger than ours here. Other than that, I can't really imagine what the other differences are going to be, because I would imagine that, because our cultures are quite similar in a lot of ways, that there's not going to be much of a difference. But let's see, I know I'm going to be proven wrong. So let's go. There's going to be me reacting to 5 ways British and American grocery stores are very different. Let's do it.
So next time you're in the other country, why not play a game of, oh look, it's that thing we have back home, but they call it something wildly different. Isn't this fun? Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to grocery stores, or should I say supermarkets, because that's what we call them in the UK.
Yeah, that's one, to be fair. So immediately, a massive, obvious difference I completely forgot about.
Weirdly, I've been doing this channel now for about nearly 5 years, and I don't think I've really ever touched on the major differences between grocery stores and supermarkets. That is probably because the nauseating experience of walking around said stores is second only to malls. I'll be honest with you, we get our shopping delivered. Haven't had to walk into a grocery store in about 3 years. But I did do some research, so it's fine. And so without further ado, let's take a look at 5 big ways that British and American grocery stores / supermarkets are so very different.
It's weird because we get our shopping delivered here. And it's crazy, when I think back to 5 years ago, we would go to the supermarket, fill up our trolley, and now everything gets delivered. It's just it's crazy how things have changed so much, yet you don't really kind of notice it unless you kind of think back and remember how you used to do things. It's crazy.
Yes, layout. As you can probably imagine, the layout of American grocery stores tends to be slightly different to that of Britain, but that makes sense. I mean, the United States itself is laid out quite differently to Britain. I don't just mean it's a different shape, I mean it incorporates different shapes. I did a video on this. Basically, America is obsessed with rectangles. Anyway, that's not connected to today's video. I think this difference might have changed a little bit in recent years. For instance, it's a common practice in both countries now to put the fresh veg right near the entrance section to give this illusion of health as you walk in, and then you walk over to the chocolate and everything falls apart. But other than that, as you're walking around the stores in both countries, you will see the odd difference, sometimes very odd difference. So
wow, so that's why they put the veg near the front of the store. Huh, I did not know that.
For instance, in some British grocery stores / supermarkets, you might find the eggs not in the dairy section. What's that all about? And since I've moved to America, that seems to make sense, right? It's with the cheese, it's with the milk, the whipped cream. And sort of genre-wise, that does make sense. But sometimes you will find things like eggs just, hanging around with the beans in England and not refrigerated either. That's a shocking thing for a lot of Americans when they see that. The wine section might be found in a different spot to where you'd find it in US grocery grocery stores. Across both countries, though, it's always going to differ, especially depending on the actual store itself. So keep an eye out for that. And kind of connected to layout is our next entry. I've said it before and I'll say it again, size is not everything, though you probably wouldn't believe that if you saw the difference between UK supermarkets and American grocery stores.
Yeah, I mean, that Walmart, I'm telling you, it was massive. It was just huge.
I used to think as a kid that whenever my mum would drag me around Asda, which is one of our major supermarkets, that particular supermarket was absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And then I moved to America and I was equally dragged around Walmart. And in recent years, the comparison between the two has become quite apt, and that is because Walmart owns Asda.
Yeah.
But the fact remains that Asda, most of them anyway, are not located within their own zip code, postcode. Whereas Walmart, it might as well have its own zip code. They're absolutely huge. They're so large, in fact, that just walking around the perimeter is enough for your weekly exercise, which I suppose is good considering all of the calories that you're about to buy. And because Walmart, and to a lesser extent Kroger, are absolutely massive, that means you have the following. In the United Kingdom, nationwide, you've got the likes of Sainsbury's, Tesco, Morrison's, Asda. So we have choice in that regard, but once you get inside the stores, we probably don't have quite as much to offer as the United States, who, for instance, provide you with about 27 varieties of Coca-Cola. I haven't tried them all. In fact, I've barely tried any of them.
Hang on, what? You can't, I know he was probably exaggerating a bit with 27, but we only have like maybe 2 or 3 types. So we've got Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, sometimes you'll see Coke Vanilla and maybe Cherry Coke and then Coke Zero. So we've got 5. Like, how many different types do you guys have there? Like,
of them, but the rule seems to be that the brighter the packaging, the more varieties there'll be, and also the brighter the packaging, the least healthy it'll be. So to reiterate, American aisles have more variety than British aisles. That was a joke, wordplay. British Isles, you got it. We're good. Walmart has such variety, you can even buy auto parts. They're usually at the back of the store.
What?
Which is not the best place between you and me, because what if you're buying a big hefty tyre? How are you going to get that out? You could roll it, that's true. In fact, that sounds amazing.
No way. You can actually buy car parts in a Walmart. That is absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like that here. Like here, you can only get that from a mechanic or maybe a Halfords. Halfords is basically like a superstore for cars or vehicles.
Might do that next time I'm in Walmart. I've just remembered I'm never going back in a Walmart, so we're good. And I don't drive. And speaking of purchases, once you get to the till/cash register, there's another chief difference between our two countries. I have to admit, this one got me long before I moved to the United States. When I was visiting the state of Maine in 2004, I walked into a music shop, as you do. I much prefer music shops to supermarkets anyway. And I purchased a ukulele. I think I talked about this very recently. And in doing so, of course, I looked at the price. $15, which is cheap. I mean, don't
cheap.
ever do that again. It was good while it lasted, but it didn't last very long. So I took it to the counter expecting to pay exactly that in $3 $5 bills, only to be told, $17.32. I mean, I'm making that number up in hindsight. I didn't really get where that additional $2 came from. And it turns out that sales tax is applied at the point of sale, whereas in the United Kingdom, what you see on the price tag in the aisle itself is exactly what you'll pay for that item, so there's no surprises when you get to the till. I should say that, I think in England, even when I'd go grocery shopping, I didn't calculate in my head each item as I went along, so I never really had a great idea about what that total was going to be anyway. It's usually when you're just purchasing single items, this problem first arises. But anybody that's visiting America from the UK who usually doesn't give a second thought to VAT, you will have to give thought to sales tax, which is kind of the equivalent here of VAT. And like I said, that sales tax is not applied to the whole store before you even go in. You'll see it applied to your receipt after the fact.
What is sales tax typically? Like, what kind of range is it? Is it between sort of 5 and 20% maybe? Because VAT here is a flat 20% nationwide. So is yours about similar, less, more? Let me know.
It's not a huge deal. I got used to it, after a couple of years. One thing I'm still getting used to, though, is our final entry. Yes, brand differences, and I'm not talking about, this particular brand that you simply can't get an equivalent of in the UK. No, I'm talking about the exact same object, or typically food item, that has the same font and everything and look about it.
Yes, this is a big one. So when I was last in America, I was looking for some crisps. Like over there, you guys call it potato chips. And Walker's is the biggest brand, you know, of crisps here. Looking for Walker's, and then I see it's called Lay's. Like, I was so confused. I was like, are you guys, are they the same thing? It was so strange just not seeing the name Walker's on there. I wonder why that is because why not just use the same name? Must be a reason behind it.
But a completely different name. Take, for instance, Axe versus Lynx. They're deodorants, don't eat them. I'm not suggesting these are all food items, but if you are a 14-year-old boy, you know what Axe deodorant is, or Lynx. They are exactly the same thing. They both have an X in it, much like an inordinate amount of brand differences, actually. You've got TJ Maxx versus TK Maxx. You've got ExxonMobil versus Esso. You've got Dove versus Galaxy. Alexa, what are they going to change your name to? I don't have Alexa. That was just a joke. But if you're from the US and you go over to the UK and you're walking around the shopping aisles and you're looking out for crisps / potato chips, and you see one that looks a little bit like Lay's. You know, Lay's, the American crisp company. It'll be called Walker's, but it has the exact same font. Everything else about it is the same, except for some of the flavors, bear that in mind. And some of the chocolate seems to live in an entirely different universe. Literally, in some cases, like I said before, the British Galaxy bar is Dove in America, Milky Way is Three Musketeers, and Mars is Milky Way. It's all one star cluster of monumental differences, and of course there are absolutely loads. So next time you're in the other country, why not play a game of, oh look, it's that thing we have back home, but they call it something wildly different. Isn't this fun? You know, you might get bored after a while, but send me your pictures. It will be amazing. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below some of the observations you've made over the differences between a British supermarket and an American grocery store. In the meantime, if you haven't had the chance to do so, please subscribe to my...
Some really interesting ones there. I mean, yeah, I do wonder why brands change names. Maybe they've done some market research and maybe the British name wouldn't quite work in America and vice versa. Because yeah, Walker's, I imagine, I guess, I'm trying to imagine an American person saying, can I grab a bag of Walkers? Yeah, Walker sounds like shoes, I guess. It's really interesting. But yeah, no, really, I love Lawrence's channel. Like, he really does a great job of you know, highlighting the differences. I definitely want to get to an American grocery store again soon. I mean, he wasn't lying about the options, the variety. Like, it's just the options you guys have. I've said it a million times when it comes to food in particular, just ridiculous, man. And speaking of that, I'm getting hungry. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.